What is going on, guys? Adam Bro here for Adam Bro Fitness. I am a functional nutritionist, personal trainer, a health coach, good friend. Like I tell people, I'm a good friend to have because I'm loyal and I'm honest. And from time to time, I'm funny. So, anyway. But if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment. It helps us with the algo. The thing that is running all of our lives, apparently, and Elon Musk thinks it's going to take over the world. The AI. So anyway, if you're watching this on or listening to it on your favorite podcast platform, please like and share as it helps us to get our content out in front of more people. As you know, health and fitness is a big topic right now. But for many of us, it's not just an industry that we work in. It is also a way of life. It is a form of medication. It is probably, as Dr. Peter Attia would say, one of the most potent cocktails that you can have for longevity is exercise and correct diet. And that doesn't happen just when you get old. It starts now when you're young so that you can have compounding interest over time. So I'm going to talk to you real quick today about some of the things I see most people doing wrong in the gym. Okay, let's get into it. Now, am I going to be critical of people? Am I going to bash people? I'm going to try not to do that. I am going to be funny. I am going to make fun of things because I've made many of these mistakes. And to this day, after 30 years of lifting weights and training in the gym and now even doing martial arts for the last 7 years, I still make mistakes and I still have to learn. And it's just because we are slow creatures and repetition is key for retention when it comes to human beings learning. The first thing that I would say that I see most people do wrong, and this is, I think most people fall into this category, is when they go into the gym, they make their workouts too complicated. So on either side of this coin, it could be the direct opposite too. They either make their workouts too complicated, too many exercises, or they go in and they just don't do enough work on any particular movement. Who's guilty of this? The person who, especially the younger male, who goes in and thinks he needs, 9 exercises to hit every angle of the chest, and then 3 exercises just to hit the biceps, and then 5 exercises just to hit all the shoulders. So you end up with like 20 or 30 exercises sometimes. I've seen guys literally do like 5 or 6 different exercises just for their biceps, and they don't have any. So you could have done one and just done it right. You might have got biceps. So overly complicating things and thinking that the body is, the body is resisting you in some way, or that there's all these really subtle nuances on how to do everything, you're just overcomplicating it. You don't need that many exercises. Most exercises, especially if they're compound or some isolated exercises, they will take the muscle you're trying to use through its full range of motion if you do it properly, and if you push hard enough, you stimulate enough fibers, you will build muscle mass. Remember, exercise is about sending a signal. It's not about trying to lose weight. It's not about trying to confuse your body. Some people still come up to me and ask me about muscle confusion, and I'm like, tell me where the muscle's brain is that it can be confused. It doesn't. It's contractile tissue. The only thing that's confused here is you. You don't confuse your muscles. They respond to stimulus. That's it, okay? So you don't need 20 exercises. You need 1, 2, maybe 3 exercises depending on the muscle group. Usually 2 is pretty good. Even for legs, like a big muscle group like, let's say, quads. Quads usually don't need more than 2 exercises. I've watched guys do sumo squats, then leg presses, and then they do leg extensions. And by the time they get to the 4th exercise, I'm thinking, if you have enough energy to get that many exercises in, you're probably not doing most of them hard enough, because you shouldn't have 20 sets of quads in you. Or if you're just doing 1 exercise and leaving, you're probably not stimulating yourself quite enough unless you are a really advanced person who knows how to go to a really dark place. Let's say today I'm just going to do hack squats and I'm going to do those until I black out. Okay, your quads are going to grow. So Too many exercises, complicating it too much is the first one. A lot of guys go in and they're trying to lift too much weight, and a lot of ladies go in and they're trying to lift too little weight. So you need to lift enough weight that stimulates your muscles to burn and grow. Like, you should feel a little burn. You should feel some tension in there, but you shouldn't have so much weight on there that you have to change the actual movement in order to complete it. Where, like, I see guys, they go in and they're going to do, let's say, the tricep push down. For the most part, without standing up and doing this, showing you, the tricep push down is like this, okay? Now, if you have too little weight, you can do it out here, right? It's a lot easier. If you have too much weight, you'll see guys, they bear down on top of it. So they had to change the whole movement just to accommodate whether it's too little or too much weight. So you have to be able to understand what the movement is you're trying to do. This takes a bit of curiosity. It also takes a bit of research. You don't just show up at the gym without any idea of what you're doing, no idea what the movements are, and then just look at the piece of paper or look at the app that you're using, and that's the first time you've seen those exercises. Remember, this is a skill. Any skill requires repetition, requires research, requires curiosity. You have to do research. I still do research. I still watch guys who are younger than me but more advanced in their thinking, and I watch them because there's always something to learn. There's always some little change or nuance or way of thinking or a little bit of inspiration that I can use to get better. So that takes a bit of curiosity. You need to know what you're doing, and then you need to appropriately stimulate your muscles. Ladies, if you're going in there and you're doing overhead presses with 3-pound weights, just stop. Like, just quit it, because your groceries weigh more than that. Your child weighs more than that. Like, I have literally watched my wife carry like a 15-pound baby on her hip for 45 minutes, an hour, like just walking around. Arm never got tired. So why would she use 3-pound weights? Makes no sense. I realize she's using her hip. I realize but you're a lot stronger. Most ladies go in there and you're way stronger than you think you are. Get in there and lift weights like you mean it, right? There's no difference between men and women in this sense. Muscle responds to tension, and it responds to repetition, okay? That's what it responds to. If you don't have enough tension, it's not going to respond, and you're not going to just get tone. Tone is not a thing. Tone is just less fat, more muscle. That's what it is. And the only way you get that is you eat in a deficit and you build muscle through resistance training. You lift bigger weights, okay? And then for the guys that go in there and they want to max out, see how much they can bench press on every day, you're not going to grow that way. The form is not right. You're not overloading. You're just showing off and stroking your own ego. Okay, I go in there. I've been lifting. I'm 46 years old. I've been lifting over 30 years. I'll go in and do, let's say, incline bench press with dumbbells, and I'm using 60s. And I'm doing the strictest form that I physically can do because I know this is the correct way to do it. And next to me is an 18-year-old young man with, shaggy little methamphetamine beard. And he's got the 100-pound dumbbells, and he is basically going to the bathroom on himself trying to lift these things, and he's only doing partially. That is just an ego stroke. That's just waiting for an injury. There's going to be very little stimulation on that other than his ego and his friends on Snapchat and Instagram, and they're all flexing, and, they all have mop hair. So, all right, so too little or too much weight. It needs to be right in the middle. It needs to be right in there where it can stimulate you. It is a challenge, but it's not dangerous, okay? The third thing is you're not using full range of motion. Full range of motion. If you take an interest in this and just try to use your muscles the way that feels most natural, then you should be able to take those movements through their full range of motion. Like when you do, for instance, leg press. This is one of the biggest offenders that I find is guys get over there, even ladies get over there, they stack too many plates on there, and they don't set their feet up properly, and they go halfway. and they do like 20 of them. Well, your hips can articulate depending on your hip, but they usually have a pretty big range of motion. I mean, most people can I can lift my knee almost to my chest. So I need to take my hip, glute, hip, and my quad and knee through its full range of motion. So I'm going to set my feet up a little differently. I'm going to look online on how to set up my feet properly, set them up properly. And then when I go down, I'm going to push my legs out, and I'm going to get as low as I can safely. Remember, we researched this. Same thing with the squat. If you're over there loading up a bunch of weight on there and you put the barbell on your back and you're doing, little chicken squats, and you're bumping your neck the whole time, it's too heavy. If you can't go through the full range of motion, there's no point. Okay? Can you get some stimulus out of it? Sure, if you overload it enough, but you could also get injured. So injury is the number one reason why people don't work out or quit working out. So full range of motion. Be curious. Get on YouTube. Follow guys. I have plenty of exercises on my YouTube channel that I take through the full range of motion. If you just try to mimic what you see to the best of your ability, or get on guys who are pros, get on there and just check it out. Look at it. Figure out what works, okay? Because remember, we're not working out simply to look better. That's one thing, but we want to be healthy. We want to be stronger. We want to be fit for life. And I don't subscribe to this idea that this is functional training and this is not functional training. All training is functional. If you get better at being a human, it's functional. Is running functional? Let that dog chase you. You'll see how functional the running is, right? So going for a run is functional. Is bodybuilding functional? Sure. Muscle mass is an organ of longevity. So it's functional to have better muscle mass, right? It's all functional. What's the next thing we see? Is that people switch up their programs too soon. They get bored. They have this sense of entertainment, right? Your workouts aren't supposed to be entertaining. I mean, they can be fun to an extent, but remember, it's work out. It's not fun out, right? It's not dance out unless you go to dance, unless you're dancing for your fun or for your exercise. Then that's great. But usually when you're in the gym, you're there to train. Okay, training and exercise are two different things. Exercise is usually more sporadic movement, high output in order to burn calories. Training has a goal in mind. Training is saying, I am going from here, I'm going from a 135-pound barbell squat to I want to get to a body weight barbell squat, and I'm 200 pounds. So I want to put 70 pounds on my squat over the next year. Okay, great. That is a goal, and you have to train to do that, okay? And training says, I'm going to progressively try to get better. And the only way you can get better at something is by doing it repeatedly. So you're not going to get better at the squat if you do it for 2 weeks, and then the next week you're doing the leg press, and then the next week you're doing the leg extension, and then you're coming back and you saw somebody online doing a Bulgarian split squat with a rack on their head or the bench on their back, or whatever other nonsense you see, or some guy doing pull-ups and convulsing himself on the ground and flipping around. I don't understand. So you're not going to get better by getting bored and having, what I've heard guys refer to as like manic squirrel mentality, where it's just you're just going from thing to thing. You're not going to get better. It is one of the things I have a problem with CrossFit for. I did CrossFit for years. I love the idea of CrossFit. I love the community. I love it, man. But random does not ever equal planned. It just doesn't. Like if you're trying to get to a specific place, like let's say I want to leave from here and get to Los Angeles. I have a very specific destination. Oh, Adam, how are you going to get there? I figured I would just leave my driveway and just turn, man. Start making turns where I felt like I was supposed to turn, bro. I just wasn't into that street, so I turned to left here. But where? No idea, bro. I'm just going by feel, man. I'm going to feel my way there. Good luck. You're going to end up in Mississippi. That's it. You're not gonna make it to LA, man. You're not gonna go from Tennessee to California by randomly turning left or right. Okay? So you're not gonna end up with the body you want by randomly choosing exercises. So that is one of the things I have trouble with CrossFit over. I have no problem with people's output. I have no problem with people, the community. People work hard, man. They really do. They work so hard. And that's one of my frustrations, is that they work so hard and don't get the results. Why don't they get the results? Because lack of planning never equals a strategic return. You have to plan for where you're going. Okay? That's why you pack bags. Okay? Because when you know where you're going, you pack your bags accordingly, right? You bring apparel with you. And the maps, you map it out. Where am I going? When you have a fitness program, should be a goal to it. And the goal shouldn't be just to suffer. If it's just to suffer, you can do that in a lot of ways and then not get anywhere. Okay? So boredom, switching your program too soon is definitely an issue. When should you switch? You should switch when the exercise is either no longer stimulating your muscles well, you're no longer able to make progress, meaning adding reps or weight to your previous performances, or the exercise is just starting to beat you up now. Let's say you're doing the leg press and you've been doing it for 3-4 months now, and it's just all it's starting to do is you don't feel your quads burning, you just feel your knees hurting. Okay, it's probably time to switch that exercise for something else that stimulates the quads well. That's when you should switch it. You shouldn't just switch your program, the whole thing, because not every muscle group is ready to switch. You might not even been working them all well. So the other thing that I find is when people go into the gym, there's two people. There's the person who goes in and they're there to die. War. They're the people on Instagram who are making their videos and it's all super dimly lit. And they're like, quoting Sun Tzu, The Art of War. And they're, for some reason, quoting 300, like somehow going to the gym makes you a warrior. It does not, by the way. It makes you a person that goes to the gym. You are not Leonidas. You are not a Spartan. No one died when you showed up. Okay? Just FYI. But there's these people that go in and their goal is to destroy themselves or die trying. Okay? The other person is the one who goes in and sweating is like the worst thing that could possibly happen to them. And their goal is just to not sweat. Or, it's more just to check off the box. And these are the folks that you see. I saw a young guy over there the other day. He was sitting on the leg curl machine, scrolling on social media, and the weight was so light that he would just touch it and it would go, the pad would just move by itself. He did that for 10 minutes and got up and left. So I was like, okay, man, I don't think there's going to be much recovery needed for that. So going in and working at an appropriate level of intensity is really key. It has to be enough for you to feel it. Unfortunately, you will sweat. But also, unfortunately, you don't have to die. That should be good news. You don't have to kill yourself and possibly rupture some ligament in order to do this, okay? So these are the things that I see most people doing wrong. I will definitely be adding more to these types of videos because you know what? We're all learning. We're all trying to get better. And if this helps you at all, which I hope it does, go in, work hard, be dedicated, be consistent. Don't have, ADD scramble brain and try to get it done well, okay? When you go back, try to add 1 rep to a previous best. Try to add a little weight to a previous best. That's it. Do that for months on end. Resist the boredom, and you will get stronger. You'll get more muscle mass. You'll look better. You'll feel better. All right? Do it. Have fun. Have great results. See ya.